Okay, here's my lesson. Okay, class, today we are going to be starting The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, the novel about teenagers who face challenges with identity, class, and belonging. Our first chapter introduces us to the narrator, Ponyboy, and based on the title, The Outsiders, and the summary we're about to read, write down some predictions that you can make about the outsiders in this story. Okay, so The Outsiders.
Miss Holler,
Yes.
can I get a pencil?
You're such a pain, bro.
I have to make it immersive.
You're right. Here's pencil. Alright, The Outsiders is about 2 weeks in the life of a 14-year-old boy. The novel tells us of the story of Ponyboy Curtis and his struggles with right and wrong in society, in which he believes that he's an outsider. Ponyboy and his two brothers, Daryl, also known as Derry, is 20, and Soda Pop, who is 16, have recently lost their parents in an automobile accident. Pony and Soda are allowed to stay under Derry's guardianship as long as they behave themselves. The boys are greasers, a class term that refers to these young men on the east side, the poor side of town. The greasers' rivals are socks, short for socials, who are the west side rich kids. Okay, so what predictions can we make about this story? Starting with just the summary on the back of the book. Who do we think might feel like an outsider? Things like that. What do you got?
I believe that Ponyboy thinks he's an outsider
Okay, why do we think Ponyboy thinks he's an outsider?
because he's the younger brother and his two other brothers are the greasers.
Okay,
And they believe, and he doesn't want to be involved in that.
okay. I guess we'll find out in the story later. Any other predictions?
Me, Miss Holler, me.
Okay, Susie.
Well, I believe that Ponyboy believes he's an outsider because he's dangerous.
He's dangerous? Which makes you believe
Dangerous.
he's dangerous?
Because Daryl and Soda Pop are his older brothers, and they're only allowed to be with Daryl if they behave.
Oh.
And I think that Soda Pop's this goody two shoes, but Daryl has issues with Ponyboy because he's not a goody two shoes.
Oh, so it said they have to behave themselves, so you think there might be some problems later in the story. Okay, let's go ahead and start reading chapter 1. Okay, let's read the first 2 paragraphs aloud. Ponyboy says that he likes the movie and books, but other members of his gang don't. What can we infer about him based on this? So let's go ahead and read the first 2 paragraphs. I'm going to start with paragraph 1. When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only 2 things on my mind: Paul Newman and a ride home. I was wishing I looked like Paul Newman. He looks tough and I don't. But I guess my own looks aren't so bad. I have light brown, almost red hair, and greenish gray eyes. I wish they were more gray, because I hate most guys that have green eyes. But I have to be content with what I have. My hair is longer than a lot of boys wear theirs, squared off in the back and long in the front and sides. But I'm a greaser, and most of my neighborhood rarely bothers to get a haircut. Besides, I look better with long hair. Susie, go ahead and read chapter 2 or paragraph 2.
I had a long walk home and no company, but usually I loaned it anyways, for no reason except that I like to watch movies undisturbed so I can get into them and live them with the actors. When I see a movie with someone is kind of uncomfortable, like having someone read your book over your shoulder. I'm different that way. I mean, my second oldest brother Soda, who is 16 going on 17, never cracks a book at all. And my oldest brother Daryl, who we call Derry, works too long and hard to be interested in a story or drawing or a picture. So I'm not like them, and nobody in our gang digs movies and books the way that I do. For a while there, I thought I was the only person in the world that did it, so I loaned it.
Okay, so what can we infer about him compared to his friends? Susie!
So, I was wrong.
You were
He's
wrong.
not this big bad boy.
Okay, so
And
what your inference is a little bit different than earlier. Now you're changing your mind.
he is a goody two shoes.
Okay. Nathan.
Well, like she said, she was wrong, but I was right. Susie's always wrong.
Be nice to Susie. Continue.
And like he described himself with the greenish gray eyes and the almost red hair, it infers that he's kind of gingerish, and that creates a kind of sense that he has to look just like all the other greasers.
Okay, so he's kind of trying to fit into this image. Yeah. Okay, as we keep reading, stop down and jot down your notes into your organizer. Write down any questions or predictions you may have. Okay, so just in the first 2 chapters, do you have any predictions about what this story might be about? What might be coming next?
I predict.
Nathan.
I predict that eventually he's gonna end up getting harmed because he loans it out and he doesn't have anybody there to protect him because, like he said, he's the youngest of the 2 brothers.
Okay, so you think something bad might happen. Susie! Susie, do you have something to add?
I argue with him. I think that him being this tiny bad lone wolf is gonna get him in trouble because he's not the Alpha Sigma he thinks he should be.
What's the vocabulary? Alright, so let's continue reading. So we continue reading all the chapter. We go through all of chapter 1. And then we start going through some of the questions. Okay, when Ponyboy describes the socks and greasers, what do you predict will happen? What kind of conflicts can you predict between the 2 groups? Yes.
I believe that they're gonna get into this gang fight.
Oh.
Because that's always what happens with the gangs. Because they think they're all big and bad.
Okay, so you think there's gonna be a gang fight. Okay, what other conflicts can we predict between these 2
just
groups?
hold on. I need to say something.
Okay, Nathan, what?
I agree with her.
Okay, we're arguing back and forth. Susie, let's see how he's different. What can you predict the conflict between the 2 groups will resort to? Okay.
I think it's gonna result in somebody getting stabbed or shot because a lot of gang fights end up in somebody not walking away with a finger or something.
Oh, okay. You think his finger might get cut off?
Yep.
Do you, what predictions can we make about how Ponyboy might get caught in the middle? Yes, Nathan.
I think that because he tries to be this loner, that he's gonna try to stray away. But what happens to everybody who tries to stray away, they end up getting jumped right back in.
Okay, so I think he's just gonna get pulled in no matter what. He just wrong place, wrong time. Susie, what do you think?
I think
that because, like he said, that he's this loner that he's gonna end up ultimately getting dragged in and something's gonna happen to him and he's gonna end up having to run away so that Daryl can keep Soda Pop safe.
Oh, okay. So you think he's gonna avoid the conflict? Okay, when he says, "I lie to myself all the time, but I never believe me," what does that reveal about his character? Turn and talk to a partner. Okay? Okay. So pretend we're reading. Pause after the scene where Ponyboy gets jumped by the socks. And I'm going to ask, how does this event build tension? Okay, Ponyboy is getting jumped by the socks. What might happen next?
Because I think that with him getting jumped, that it's going to make the rest of the gang all mad.
Okay.
And all the greasers are going to show up on the west side and they're going to have a giant brawl.
Okay, we think there's going to be a big old fight. Susie, what do you think's going to happen?
I think that, like he said, they're gonna have a giant fight and that somebody's end up gonna get murdered and that they're gonna get sent away for a long time and that because of that, Daryl's gonna end up losing Soda Pop and Ponyboy.
Oh, so you think it's going to end up causing them to get separated, and you think it builds tension because now everyone's angry that it happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we finished the rest of chapter 1, and then we're going to summarize and make some connections. So let's revisit our predictions and questions that we had from before the reading. Okay, were they answered? Okay, what was our questions in the beginning? Yes. Susie, what was some of your questions from the
My
beginning?
question was, why does Ponyboy feel like an outsider? And it got answered because he's not this big bad boy, but he's kind of quiet and shy and nerdy, and he likes to read his books and his movies.
Okay, so he feels like an outsider because he said he was different from his family. He likes to read books, watch movies, stuff like that. Okay, what other questions did we have in the beginning that might have been answered? Nathan, did you have a question that got answered?
I did.
What was it?
My question was, why does they feel so tensioned with Dale, Ponybop, and Soda Boy? And it's because if they do one mistake that causes legal trouble, that they might get taken away from Dale and they'll all get separated.
Okay, so you were wondering about their family dynamic. And then did a few of those questions get answered? Okay, awesome. So, let's summarize chapter 1 in 3 to 4 sentences. Remember to keep it focused on the main events and not every detail. 1 to 4 sentences. Remember to have all your parts of a sentence in there, a period, if you're using prepositions, commas, stuff like that. Make sure they're full sentences. Yes, Nathan?
Can I go to the bathroom?
No, you may not go to the bathroom. Finish your summary. Okay, here's an example of one of the summaries we've seen created today. So, Ponyboy introduces himself and his brothers, as well as the Greasers and the Socks. He explains that he feels different from his gang, and on the way home from the movies, Ponyboy gets jumped by a group of Socks, showing there's tension between the groups. Okay, write your summary. Take a few minutes to write your summary. Okay, finally, let's reflect. Yes, Nathan?
I'm done.
Good, I'm glad you did your summary. Let's move on. Okay, what themes or issues might this story explore based on chapter 1? What themes and issues might we see in this story based on the first chapter? Yes, Nathan?
I think that it's going to create a sense of don't be afraid to be yourself and create a sense of independency.
Okay.
Because Ponyboy does like, not Ponyboy, it is Ponyboy. Ponyboy likes being himself, but the rest of the gang doesn't like it. And they try to like bring him into like hangouts and movie nights. And they try to like take away his independency and like try to involve him with the gang. And he don't want that.
So we might have some identity issues with Ponyboy because he's getting drugged into all these different gangs. Susie, did you have an idea of the theme or issue that
I
might
think
come?
that the theme is going to be that violence is never the issue or never should be the solution, because with the gang fights, I think they're going to end up battling each other, and then that both sides going to end up losing a lot of people due to like injuries or deaths. And then that they're going to come together and be like, kumbaya, kumbaya.
Oh, you think they're gonna make up the
Everything's
end?
going to be okay.
Okay, all right. So make sure that your before, during, and after reading chart is completed. Make sure that you've answered some of your questions if they were answered. If not, make sure to leave a little question mark so we know that maybe we'll get to answer them later in the story. And then make sure you have your written summary, okay? 3 to 4 sentences is what your summary needs to be. So make sure you turn that in by the end of class. That's going to be it for today. Thank you. Go to class.
No!